Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be back again and give you an update on what we've been doing over the last year. Company structure-wise, we listed in 2007 and we've only got 216 million shares, so we've kept it very tight. About 7.5 million in cash, share price around $1.43 and market cap over 330 million. Fantastic share performance, as you can see. The company is dominated by high net worth investors, and we've deliberately done that. The top 20 own around 78%, the top 4 own around 45%, and directors and management around 5 to 6%. It gives you a bit of an idea on slight differences of this company compared to most. Our project is 300 kilometres north of Kalgoorlie at Laverton. The main assets are at Laverton, and we've been working on those for the last 3 years, drilling away. We've drilled, by the end of February, we would have drilled 60,000 metres, so it's a serious project called Hawks Nest 9 and the adjacent project called Lady Julie. So we'll go into the detail. The aim is to get a large-scale deposit, over 1 million ounces. To date, all the drilling we've done so far, we've basically average depth's only 55 metres, so we've uncovered a surface deposit, and the deeper drilling is to come, so we'll talk about that. You can see there's a lot of large mines in the area, dominated by Sunrise Dam at Laverton, with Wallaby as well. We're very close to those, and in fact we're only 15 kilometres north of the Wallaby mine, 15 kilometres northwest of the Granny Smith processing plant. At the same time, we're only 10 kilometres north of the Jupiter and Jupiter processing plant, so very close to major mines and processing facilities, and here we are uncovering a very large-scale deposit. You can see the land held at Laverton. We're in it's a blue colour, and to the east is Goldfields, and to the southwest is Dacian, and you can see the proximity of the Hawks Nest 9 project to the major mines in the area. Infrastructure-wise, it's quite rich in infrastructure. The old Laverton Road and the sealed Laverton-Leonora Road, plus the gas pipeline, and flights occur here about 3 times a week, so it's well traversed. Going into the geology, you would have seen this map previously. Gives you a bit of an understanding of what we're seeing in the major deposits. Some of them have intrusions that come to surface, just like we see at Jupiter and Wallaby. Sunrise Dam, the intrusions don't quite get there yet. There's intrusions involved. But the other most important thing we see are these horizontal lodes that are stacked going downwards, and that's quite an important feature because that's part of the high grading of these intrusions. So we looked for those, and we found those on our project, and we'll describe those. So in the central part of Hawks Nest 9, we've got a multi-stacked lode system as well. You can see it dips to the east, just like Jupiter does. At Wallaby, they're actually horizontal plates, they're very rich, and they're currently mining down at a kilometre depth. So these plates can carry mining down to such considerable depths, and it's important that we evaluate those. So the thicker intersection here is 104 metres at 0.8 of a gram from 8 metres. So what we see at Hawks Nest 9 is the shallowness, and a lot of the intersections start from surface or close to surface. So this is a distribution of the drill holes. There's a lot of dots. It shows all the intersections greater than 2 grams per tonne, scattered over a 3 kilometre distance. Pointing out the thickened zones with the multi-lodes. There's the original central thickened zone, and only in the recent months we've found another thickened zone, which are quite different to the rest. and important to recognise those as we go through. There's currently another drilling program going on, and what we're doing is we're addressing getting it to an indicated category, because we believe when we do our scoping study and also talking to our neighbours, it's important to get it to that position rather than dealing with inferred categories. At the same time, we're defining the length in the southern direction especially, where we see these thickened zones developing. Note the intersections of the northwest shear system and then north-northeast system where the thickened zones developed. It's it's an intersection point, and I'll point that out on a regional scale as well. Okay, so what I'm showing is a step-by-step going from the central zone going northwards to give you a flavour of what the deposit looks like. As you go north, we don't see the multi-stack zones, but we do see the mineralisation actually outcropping, and there's a series of pits on the western side. All the way through the deposit we see these. So it is unusual to be able to find a deposit that outcrops, and that's what we have here. As we go further north, you can see the same sort of geometries and even flat-lying parts to it as we go further north again. So the Hawk's Nest deposit, you can see it's well drilled. It's got nice continuity, which is what you want. It's definitely wireframeable. Note that the thickened zone and the number of drill holes we're doing, trying to understand the geometries going southwards, and also further south here. Same thing, in each one of these drill holes has got an intersection, in this case greater than a gram. The adjacent Lady Julie project, there's actually 3 to 4 lines of mineralisation, and we're trying to link them up to form continuous packages of mineralisation. We suggest that both these areas will be mined under one operation. They start about 1 kilometre away from each other. So this is part of our program that we're finishing in February, and there's a 20,000 program, so you can see the blue and yellow dots are part of that program. Okay, so this is a new slide, and basically what we've done, we recognised it's a very well mineralised area. We're very close to these big mines. Very important to demonstrate the depth continuity, because that's where the big resources are going to come from. Fundamentally, this is a surface deposit. So what we did, we laid out the shallow seismic program. That shallow seismic program, there's 2D seismic, basically that line and this line. The east-west line cuts through the thickened zone. And also note these dots, and further north, those dots are part of the passive survey. So we ran these seismic survey using high size in Perth, and along the lines there were measurements taken every 5 metres with the thumper truck, but with the static seismic, they remained in the ground for another 3 weeks. So what we're trying to do is, obviously we've got the 2D seismic, but we're trying to generate a pseudo 3D pattern, because we believe the structures are important, and the deep-seated structures linking what we see at the surface. So it'd be great to get a 3D effect from the passive seismic. We've only got results for this one to date, and I'll show you that in the next slide. But basically we've covered 30 square kilometres, so fundamentally we'll get an understanding of all these projects and the ones that we've drilled previously to the north to understand the deep-seated structures. And that's the seismic section. I only released it yesterday to the market, and it's the first preliminary interpretation. The most outstanding part to it is that the Hawk's Nest 9 deposit, which dips to the east like we showed you, is actually lying on this major thrusting position. You can see this package of thrusting faults that come down from great depth, overlying this other area, which have got near horizontal reflections. And these are the structures that come to surface, and that one actually correlates with Hawk's Nest 9. So that's giving you the fundamental understanding that these things are deep-seated. We do understand that deep-seated is important, obviously for the potential of the large tonnages, but we're also understanding there's other structures that come to surface. We haven't even had a chance to have a look at these in detail in terms of where we're drilled and where the soil geochem is. So we'll be chasing those. At the same time, Lady Julie has some steeper thrusts. Those steeper thrusts actually reflect the geology, the dip there as well. It is steeper. So, we're quite happy to see that sort of similarity. So these are outstanding targets. Obviously, we need the other data as well to understand the extensions going northwards, but they become primary targets. The aim is to find multiple Hawk's Nest 9s along these structures, and that's what we'll try to achieve. But the initial seismic results look pretty good. The noise levels are excellent. So I guess pretty excited to see this pattern. Basically, the thrusting system overlying this package is really what you want to see. Director-wise, we've got some fairly experienced board members. One of them's here today, Julian. Both Eric and Mr. Chan live in Singapore, very experienced guys. Mr. Chan owns a chemical plant in mainland China, but he resides in Singapore. So it's a quick run through the projects, and there's one other project I want to talk about, but briefly. So in summary, we've talked about the mineralisation being coherent over 3 kilometres. It's only drilled in the top 50 metres, so there's tremendous scope for the upside. The initial seismic is very promising. It's shown us 6 thrusts at Hawk's Nest 9, but 3 at Lady Julie. We know obviously what's happening at those 2 areas, but it opens it up for the other thrusts that we've not explored before. We understand the thickened porphyry systems. We've found them on our project area. We note that they're at these intersections, and the plan is to drill down to at least 400 metres, but with the backdrop of the drilling that we're doing now, plus the seismic work. So that'll allow us to direct our drilling. And basically, we're in a great position. We do know there's quite a lot of interest in what we're doing from our neighbours who are producers in their own right, and we're happy to talk to our neighbours. Just a quick one. Some people have been asking me about it. We do have a Julimar lookalike based on the geophysical interpretation, and what we see are these sinuous blade-like things running through. So this project is the fairway east of Julimar, but it does have that pattern. There's 3 different tenements up here, and we're waiting for those to be granted, and hopefully in the early new year so we can do a bit of investigation on the palladium potential. Anyway, so that's the talk, and thank you very much.
Thank you, George.